Welcome to the Wealth and Press podcast with your host, Lucie. This is the space where purpose-driven entrepreneurs are invited to rise into their full power, expand their wealth, and build thriving empires in their own terms. As a wealth expansion mentor and business strategist, I guide visionary women to scale with clarity, purpose, and ease. I now help leaders build a life and business that generate true wealth in every senses. It's time to step into your power, embrace your unique path, and unlock the wealth that is waiting for you. Let's rise together. Hello everyone and welcome to this new podcast. And I wanted to talk to you about my reflection through what is a luxury and also what is a wealth expansion for me, where it all leads me and where it started. For me, it's such an eye-opening when I actually did that work, and I feel like it's something that I want to share with you because I personally love stories. It's the way I learn things. And coming to the subject of luxury and something that I got to reflect on through a call I had with my mentor, because it's something that is deeply rooted within my own self, but also rooted within the way I've structured my business. When I started, I've been in business for 10 years. I started as a photographer. I was a photographer for longer than that, but like structurally, it was created the end of August, the 1st of August, 2014. It's been 10 years. It's crazy. So many things happened in 10 years. In 10 years, I had 3 babies. I had also gone through a very heavy season of my partner being extremely sick. So basically, like I was the one leading the household in all aspects of life, which has been extremely intense. If you probably can guess. And I feel like has been such a huge catalyst to where I am at now and also where I started. And it's crazy to also reflect that where I was 10 years ago and the age I was 20 years ago. When I started my business, I was 27, just still in my 20s, like, you know. But the big sensation that big feeling I have within is that this woman already paved what I'm here to be now, even though she was not aware of anything. And I'm going to talk to you about me 10 years ago, and I'm just speaking for me, reflecting on my 10 years from today and to 10 years in the future. And I feel like it's such a fun game to do because there's a lot of things that we have planned, visioned, and worked on, and we tend to stay stuck in the things that we thought was a vision and did not come to fruition. And we get to see this and magnifying that instead of realizing that, sitting down and realizing how many things in your vision happen and how many things in your vision happen, but not the way you thought it will happen. And it's just marvelous. Personally, I feel like this is the best thing in as a business owner is to or even personal growth, wealth expansion is the journey to it, not the completion of it. Because the completion is, if you do personal development, is the day you pass. So we have a long journey to accomplish anyway. So luxury is something that has been infused in my business since day one in such a huge aspect, in some ways that I felt like being such in the idea of what luxury was about. I completely hide myself. I completely disappeared behind an entity because I didn't share, and I was half showing off because there was part of my authenticity that I was just hiding behind, but because they were not luxe enough, luxe in the sense of what we probably have been conditioned to see that is luxe. And I feel like it has been such a big reflection and also a great expansion for me to work through that, because luxury is not just having luxury handbags and going on holidays on a yacht, or all of I feel like I'm really kind of creating a very archetypal, not nuanced, very black and white idea of what is luxe. But I feel like it's where the way I have been brought up, and it's that idea of that money doesn't bring happiness. I feel like it's such ingrained in so many of us anyway. And I definitely agree, money does not bring happiness. Yet money helps you having security and safety. also helps you creating the life that really expands you and help you creating that generational wealth that I feel like we all within ourselves have a kink of having this happening. So it's inside of us all. For me, luxury has been very different, bringing me to places where actually it's not just the bed, it's the experience of luxe. It's more the experience of like spaciousness, the experience of, it's not just the room, it's not just the bed, it's the all surrounding of it. Every part of that hotel or places are extremely curated to be beautiful, aesthetically beautiful. So you actually feel a sense of they did a great work on portraying spaciousness. I personally, myself and my partner are really drawn into more quite luxury. It feels like so much better for us, but it also has to be family friendly because we do have 3 kids. So we have a great place that we love to go, and it's just amazing. We used to go there. We started going there, I think, in 2015. We went to another place before, but like this one, and then we fell in love with the place, and where we actually spend most of our, like, whenever we have a weekend away, we go there. And now we bring the kids, and like the kids were babies the first time they came, and now like they're walking, and the people in the hotel remember them being babies, which is such that family coziness, because it's just incredible to be able to go to places where people have been working there for so long, so they actually remember you the first day you came, and they remember you like nearly 10 years later, and all the what happened in your life. To me, has been the deep anchoring of luxury, because for me luxury is not the handbag, it's the family aspect, that cocooning coziness of being served in the most pristine way, but also being not losing the human side of being in an interaction with someone. They're not just a transaction, they're not just a dry back, like I give you this, I pay. It's more I really go through an experience, and I feel like it's something that if you actually look at Hermes, they were doing that really well 20-30 years ago, and it's been shifting, and some other brands has been shifting into a bit more transactional, which I feel like it's not the real luxe. Luxe is really personal, it's really close to you, it's human to human, literally. So that's one of the first things for me. Luxe is really family based, in terms of like you feel like part of family, you feel part of something bigger than you in some sense. And the other part for me, building a business, and it's been created and graded in the beginning, where personally have been like putting so much heart into, is luxury of time. When I was a portrait photographer, just quote unquote portrait photographer, I was meeting my client with a pre-consultation, like a consultation, so basically a pre-portrait. So we were meeting before our shoot, we were actually having a call, we were setting a shooting date, and then 2 weeks before that shooting date I was meeting with them so we could go through the clothes. But also is actually more for me to be able to sit down with my client and know them, being able to really go through the conversation like I am part of family, I'm a friend, or whatever you want to go, like someone that is holding a safe space for them. I've been sitting with so many gorgeous people, mostly women, and the things have been shared to me that would not share to any other people, even close family members. It's extremely humbling as well. This is something that really comes to mind, is honor and humbling, because you get to meet people in such a deep soul essence, in such deep layers, that it's not just being photographed, it's not just being having a good photo of you. It's more about the transformation that photo shoot will accomplish, but like actually the transformation started way before you got photographed. And it's about like leaning into trust, the surrendering, the softening of your own self, your own human, your own body, through a deeper trusted sense. And I used to spend at least half a day with my clients. It was something that I knew would be half a day. I always loved creating spaces where I don't have a end timeline. So saying this in the meaning that I know will be ending, it's not going to be like stretching over 3 days. But the thing is, I know I will allow space for the space to be the space. So basically, when I had my pre-consultation with my clients, I was meeting with them, and I knew it was going to be a couple of hours. It was like I was not meeting someone else just back to back, because that in terms of energy was not congruent to where I wanted to lead that luxury feel of presence. If you want to be present, you don't want to have a full agenda to be like, oh, okay, I need that, I do this client, and then I'm remembering every other client you have after that. That didn't feel right to me. Didn't feel honoring of the presence of my client, but it was not honoring my own energy. So that's the way I was doing when I had my consultation. I only had one client a day, and it was taking the day, like the time it was taking, but like usually it was like 3.5 hours, depend, 2.5 to 4 sometimes actually. But I knew it was going to be half a day. So I was like, the boundary was for half a day. I still had to go at some point. I was not staying the whole day, but this is where there was the energetic standard was set up that way. And I even had to, sometimes I even traveled to clients and like took an hour and a half or whatever that it took for getting to them. But it was such an important step for me, because I got to sense your aura closer, like the most precious time I really had with my client, because it was just the two of us. Because in the photo shoot, they usually had like people working with me. It's not usually, it's always, I had at least one person, but usually it was 3 or 4. Because as I said, like luxury of time, it's a luxury of service as well. And having these people in the space to allow me to be with my client at the most capacity I can be. So being the photographer, but also being the one they discussed, they talked with, but also having my people to be a reflection of that cocooning, like coziness that I really wanted to create. And actually, fun fact is, I will try to find a photo, and actually I should share that online because I feel like it's an important part. But the way I designed my studio looked like a living room. So when people came into my space, most people were like, are you living here? Because it really set up like a living room, because I had a couch, and like it was very minimalist. There was not a lot of things. It was only a few things, the photography things, but they were like tucked away. They were not like in front of your face. So you couldn't, unless you knew, you wouldn't have guessed there was a portrait studio. And this is something that I really, really love, because I really wanted to have that coziness of like, you coming in, you're having tea with me. But most of the time, for the pre-portrait, I went to my clients, but I still had tea and a coffee in the morning before they had their hair makeup done, because it's something that I really enjoy, having the time with my clients. This is something I still rejoice every day. And even the people I met, like in the stories, oh my god, if I could sit and talk about all the stories I got to meet, and the marvelous trailblazers I met, is crazy. Even though like sometimes trailblazers just had that beautiful women that had so many, I don't know, I won't share that, but anyway. So this is one thing about, I feel like the quiet luxury, I would say, is something that I feel like the most important for me is time. Time is such a luxury. Time is so precious. Moreover, when you have kids and you have a partner, you desire to also honor your family, honor yourself, like having that deep sense of time is precious, time is a luxury, has shifted so much for me. Again, I do fall sometimes through the trap of losing that mind, like that direction, but it's also part of being a human. We do lose the direction, so we can remind ourselves that is the path. Some few reflection as well with for you, because there is a big part that I feel like it's just the archetype we tend to see in the online space, at least, is that idea of the more you make, the more you work, the the less time you have. Time gets like even more stretched, very thin. Everything comes from a decision point, of course, at the capacity of your own healed self, because it's always coming from that aspect. Healing is always a journey, it will never end. But like you have different capacity, your capacity increase throughout the time, but also sometimes contracts. But anyway, that's another story for another podcast. I really do value clients really be present for X amount of time when it was in the photo shoot, but also when I honor any type of conversation I have with people, even if it's 15 minutes, or even just over coffee for 2 hours. That is a luxury to me, even though sometimes like it's just going for a coffee that costs you like $20 or something like that. It doesn't really matter. It's really about being within the presence of the present moment and the person that you're sharing that present moment with. And we tend to, with the online space, we tend to kind of forget that aspect, that we are all human, we're all dealing with human, and the most luxurious thing you can ever offer is your time, a luxury of time. And meaning that by doing that, it's like meaning that you don't want to stretch yourself too thin, and it's not about the point of working in 18 hours and being 18 hours on the phone with people. It's really about allowing that spaciousness of like, I want to honor you in the most reverence capacity I am able to offer you, and that will in a full grounded answer is that will take me X time. And if that's the standard, that's a boundary, like the energetic standard that you're offering. And I feel like with the online space, we've seen like so much like it has like all of those kind of things that feels that might bring some dissonance within yourself, because you feel like, oh, it's been done like this, so I should do it this way. And I'm here to tell you that if it's been done like this, you're welcome to follow that. But it has been done like this, you're welcome also to sit down, analyze, and realize what is right for me, what is not, and create something else. Because what you see has been created by someone once, and they probably haven't seen it before. So you are a trailblazer, you are a creator, you are here to really initiate things. And the initiation is like within your business, you initiate things, you're making decision, and also you're creating the standard for what capacity you allowing yourself to work with clients. And personally, at least for now, that might change, but like also I feel like in my human design is not really the case, but like that could change as well, because human design, personal human design, business human design is a bit different. It's that real key change of, personally, I love working one-on-one. I've always been loving working one-on-one or very short group, and now reflecting in doing this video is, in some aspect of me, I have been judging not having a lot of people. In terms like when I hold spaces, I've seen people holding spaces like 150 people or even more, and you're like, oh my god, if I don't bring this, like I don't hold space for this amount of people, then I'm less than, instead of realizing that I actually love sitting down with you and really going through any type of transformation, even if it's a 5 minutes talk, really working through a way for you to expand and transform into your highest, like to at least a new level of your highest consciousness, your highest self. And like it took many aspects, many ways. Like with the medium of photography was really taking that time and space, and also allowing people to soften so they could surrender to their own inner trust. Being guided, of course, because the photo shoot is fully guided with me. It's not something like sit down and move. It's like actually sit down, do this, because it actually just disconnects something within yourself, so you can drop into your body and going through that realm of being photographed and what it comes up as being photographed. And then also that was the first medium I really started with, but also where I realized that I was always, like when I was talking with people that had businesses, my talk always just shifted back to business, shifted back to what they were doing, and the way seeing ways they could expand within their own business and into their own full capacity, their own full truth, really stepping into a new identity. And sometimes it just feel like sometimes it came through supporting them into believing in pricing, but also sometimes was just literally holding space for them to realize that this idea could be done and realized in a very short amount of time. One example, I had a client of mine that had a product that she wanted to sell. And when we had the conversation, it's, oh, that's something that I probably do, around spring or something like that, because I have this and this, and like I don't know if I blah blah. And in the conversation that we had, this actually happened, that in the next, I think it was 10 days, less than 10 days, everything was in motion. The product was and she already had the product, so like the product were already ready, but like over the landing page for the purchase and the post and all of that were ready. She just posted and it got sold out in like less than 2 days, completely sold out. And it's just like, that's what happens. It's like when you really stepping into, instead of the what if from a fear-based, it's like stepping into the what if of like that luxury of like, what if it's actually expanding, what I'm like holding on to the river, like to the side of the pool, and like pushing yourself and letting loose, and really trusting that you will not, how to say this, oh my goodness, I don't have the word, couler in French, drown, that's the word.
What if there were a way for you to link body, mind, spirit under one roof? This is what I created. I created Domaine Privé, which is a 3-day immersion where we get to really lead you to unlock your true wealth senses. Each day will build a next step. We will start with the body. We'll start to unlock the body, really working with the somatic part of yourself, so you can actually activate the cell, the vibration of yourself. So we can actually work on the rewiring the next day. The rewiring is more like, it's more mindset and energetics that we're going to work on as well on the second day. And then on third day, we're actually going to be really tuning to your intuition. The intuition is where the idea comes from, where your soul is actually speaking to you, and where you get to activate the impact that you want to create in this life. But actually it's going from down to up, so we can actually have a clear channel, and that's going to be Domaine Privé. 3 days together where we're going to really, really, truly unlock your true wealth senses. And I'm so excited to have you here. If you're interested in joining us, please DM me. There is limited spots, and I'm looking forward to invite you in.
But like, you will not drown, and really trusting that actually your body can support you, your own self can support you. Because if you are really following the impulse from the soul and breaking the walls of between the connection with the body and the soul through, of course, with the help of the mind, it's really going to really shift so many things. Because I've witnessed that so many ways of like, but what if, and the what if in that capacity of like, what if this big, and people like really kind of stepping into that and like, okay, trust, and like seeing it happening and shifting in very short amount of time. But I'm amazed with the path that we all are leading ourselves into. And sometimes leading also happens to be a hermit season, and it's completely fine, it's solely honorable. It's just, yeah, I really love the journey, and I feel like it's where I really want to take you. I want to take you into your next level of your journey, your next extension of your journey. And I feel like sometimes in ideas we feel like it's like when I say new levels, like, so usually use new level for now because I feel like it's understandable for everyone, but this is not the way I personally see it, because I feel like for me it's a path, it's a straight path, and then sometimes you have options. You have like the path that it's the golden path, it's paved, and you have the light, and then sometimes you decide to go on the right, on the left, and there is no light, and it's just because it's actually bended. And sometimes you decide to go through that path, but still the path is still the same path. It's just, it's a detour, but it's not really a detour. It's actually an embodiment step that isn't crucial for your own path. And it's where we actually, because in the end you'll come back to your golden path always. And it feels like when you are in the middle of that dark path that you chose, and you're like, oh my god, why did I do that? And you kind of wanted to go back, but you can't go back. It's always forward, there is no back. And you need to trust to go forward and forward every single day. And one day you just see the path again, but it feels like you were sleeping and the path just lit up itself. This is just, I don't know, it's just the most amazing thing, that happens. Again, being in trenches is not always it's not always pretty. It's the work. It's the work for it's the work, soul work. It's the everything that we are here to be. We're designed to be going through, because we are actually God experiencing itself, literally. But we have a body, so we also have to honor that, because we're still human. So it's really navigating the nuance of soul and body, and the mind, of course. I just going to stop for this one today now, and I wish you well, and I talk to you to the next one. Bye guys.